Hello YouTube, Musty Hobbit here, and among my many gaming interests, I also collect Xbox. Today I cross a major milestone and add a crown jewel to my ever-expanding original Xbox collection. Ready to take a look? Let's go! To those of you joining the ColleXion Chronicles for the first time, welcome. My name is Musty Hobbit and I've been collecting video games for coming up on 2 years. More specifically, I've been collecting original Xbox games since about May of 2015. I had started small, picked up a small Xbox bundle and kind of took off from there. The thing that I found about Xbox, and the thing that is really advantageous, is that the games themselves are not very expensive, and you can usually find a pretty good deal without having to break the bank. So today I have actually crossed a major milestone. I have officially gone beyond 200 games in the original Xbox collection. The actual number is a little bit up for debate. I have had a couple of games that have been replacements for Platinum Hits versions or replacements for loose copies, and so I don't really count those as new acquisitions. So I would say currently the number after what we have here today is somewhere between 205 and 209. What I would like to do is eventually do a full overview of the actual collection to kind of catch things up, so that everyone has a good sense for where I'm at, and so then I can get you an official number, which then I will make a point of highlighting as we go along. So I'm going to go through these. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on any of them because I do want to get to the big part of this video, which is the shining gem of a crown jewel that has been added to this collection, and a little bit of a story there. So a couple of these games actually came via trade. I am part of the Iowa Retro Gamer Nation, which is a Facebook group specifically focused on people in the state of Iowa who, and a lot of these guys and a few girls are very passionate about retro gaming, and a lot of them have their sort of niches. Now I've sort of set myself up as being the Xbox guy. I do collect a lot of Nintendo and Super Nintendo as well. If you've seen my other videos, you can attest to that as well. But like I said, these were acquired in trades. I have trades from Jeff and from Michael. And again, thank you guys for working these out for me. Michael, I know that there's quite a bit that we're working on. So I will highlight those that I get from Michael in the next video. But in the trade that I had with him, I actually have gotten a copy, and this was a replacement for my Platinum Hits version of Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, which is based on the character from the Pitch Black movie, and then the Chronicles of Riddick movie that came from there. This game is a first-person brawler shooter, primarily brawler, set in a Ultramax prison set in the movie universe. So amazing graphics for a game that came out, I think, in 2004. This was top of the line when it came to graphics, and it holds up too. I tested it out a little bit to really get a feel for that one again. Also from a trade with Michael, Tony Hawk Underground 2, one that I had not yet played. I really kind of topped out at Tony Hawk 3 or 4, whichever one you could get Jango Fett in, so I'm assuming it's probably 3. So I'll give Underground 2 a shot. Jeff, who had also traded me the Final Fantasy manual and maps for the Nintendo, had also traded a copy of Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge. I tried this one out. It's actually kind of fun. It feels like a little bit of a, I mean, it's obviously a racing game if that wasn't obvious. There's a lot of variety just in the different sort of stunt type games that they have played. So I'm looking to sink some more time into there. It is actually quite interesting. The next 6 games actually all came from a recent trip that I had to take There's a disc replay a couple blocks from my parents' house, so I went to see what they had, and actually found 6 games, all at a pretty good price. On average, I spent, I think it was somewhere in the range of $3 to $4 a piece for all 6 of these. But a couple of interesting titles, some that were ones that I just hadn't seen in a long time, so I thought it would be worth picking up. So we will go through those. We have Return to Castle Wolfenstein, or Stein. Steen. We'll go with Steen. Tides of War. Sneakers, which I am totally not familiar with this game. This was a very early release. I know that the Dolly Popka did a review of this, but I really have not had a chance to see much beyond the opening cinematic on this. So we shall see what Sneakers is all about. This one was the Star Wars Clone Wars and Tetris Worlds combo disc. And this, when I originally had purchased my first Xbox, my original Xbox, this was the disc that came with it. Another game from that purchase, we have Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. And this was a late release. There was actually also a 360 version, which I recall playing with one of my friends on the 360. And 2 more games from that purchase. We acquired the Bible game, which I believe is a little more rare, probably more out of lack of popularity than anything else. It is a trivia game show game. It is strange. One of the weirdest pause screens I've ever seen in the world. It's some dead silence and a lightning storm. Hopefully I can show that to you. We'll see if I can cut to some video real quick of that. Fingers crossed that worked. The last game from that purchase, one that I have seen reviews on, and I do not have the first game of the 2 games that came out for the Xbox. We have Buffy, a Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds, and this is the second game of that series. I was not big into Buffy. I wasn't anti. I just never really got into watching that series, but I'm looking forward to getting into this. I hear it's extremely good. I hear that the level of polish on this game is well worth the time and investment. So that's 9. The 10th game, and this was the surprise. So short story here. I had been working. I'd thrown some trade bait out on the Iowa Retro Gamer Nation group. And I had somebody message me saying they were interested in a GameCube that I had and was looking to trade. So we started talking. I asked him what he had. He sent me a series of pictures, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I saw he sent me a picture of my jaw about dropped. Because I knew what it was. He knew what it was too, because he said that goes with this game, Steel Battalion. And if you are familiar with this game, the really unique thing about this game is that this game cannot be played with a normal controller. In fact, it says specifically on the back that it is required to play. So I acquired the game, but the other important piece is I acquired the controller. So this is the Steel Battalion controller. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. From what I understand, and I've seen a couple of videos highlighting this, there are 40 buttons. There is a startup process for this whole thing. So you actually have to, it's almost like you're in the cockpit of a giant mech, and you have to fire things up in order to get the ignition to start, which is right over here. Now the one kicker here is I'm missing the pedals. He did not have the pedals, but I could not pass up the opportunity. And the reason I couldn't pass up the opportunity is because he decided he didn't want to do a trade, but that he was willing to let this go for the cost that it would take to ship it to me. And again, floored. Cannot believe that this happened. So, Jared, thank you, man. This is probably the most sought after thing for the original Xbox. Now, I know that it's not totally complete, but I'm just kind of shocked and kind of in awe of having this. I just need to find a space to put it on my shelves. I really don't have a good space for this just yet. I plan to maybe spend a little more time with this and hopefully show you guys a lot of this lights up and all of that as well. So, Steel Battalion controller, again, the new crown jewel of the Musty Hobbit original Xbox collection. So thank you again to everyone from the Iowa Retro Gamer Nation who was part of the trades that got me to this point so far. I did have a couple bonus tries, so I did want to actually highlight those very quickly, and then I will wrap this up here. One of these, actually, I found this at a Goodwill recently. It is a copy of Halo for the PC. It is complete. I was kind of surprised, even down to the I think even down to the codes and things that I would need to install it. It was all there. So, you know, Halo originated on the Xbox, but they did make a PC version. So I don't know if my computer can probably handle it, but I don't know if it should. Anyways, good shelf piece for me there. The last thing that I have here is for the 360. As I've mentioned, I have recently joined the Cartridge Club, and I did participate last month, January 2016, for Crash Bandicoot 2, which was an interesting experience. It wasn't a great thing for me, but February, shortest month of the year, they decided to do a nice long RPG. And so I managed to snag a copy on eBay. I feel like I got a good price for it, and then it happened to show up on the first of the month, so it was kind of destined for me to knock this one out. So the Cartridge Club Game of the Month for February is Nier, which is a Square Enix game. Unique. I'm about 3 hours into the game so far, so it is very early for me. I really like the atmosphere. I like the soundtrack. It's very stylized, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm really intrigued to see where things go. But again, Nier. If you have a copy, join the Cartridge Club. Come along for the ride. The forums are great, and those guys love to have good conversation. And I'm looking forward to the podcast at the end of the month. I'm not sure who they will pick to be on there for that. Hopefully it's some people who are pretty knowledgeable in the game. Being my first shot, it's probably not me. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Again, this has been the ColleXion Chronicles. I will be back fairly soon. This weekend is the Cedar Rapids Comic-Con, and this is the first time that they've done that. I am really looking forward to it. There will be a lot of people from the Iowa Retro Gamer Nation there, so we'll get a chance to meet and hang out with those guys again. I'm debating going in costume, but I will likely get some footage, and hopefully we can show some of that off at some point later on. So, anyways, I've been Musty. I crossed the 200 game barrier, and so crazy. Anyways, take care of yourself. Be good to each other. We'll see you later.